They're
Was
NFL
the Hall of
players.
Fame game tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Welcome back to the show. I'm Rob, here with Mike and Joe. This is the Hogs, Hops, and Hope podcast. Hot takes, cold beers, zero credentials. We're into the first week of camp, training camp. They've started using pads. They're wearing pads now at training camp. Everything is going amazingly well from all the reports that I've been reading. Jaden Daniels is dropping dimes like he's Henry Rockefeller handing out dimes in the early 1900s. Everybody's catch is the most incredible catch anybody's ever seen. And everybody's having the best camp of their lives. So I'm optimistic for the season. A week into training camp, and those are reports I'm getting. Super Bowl, here we come.
Here we come. Let's go.
So you're saying they're doing great when they don't have to face an opponent? Got it.
Yeah, well, hey, these are the way things work. And I guess because y'all know the one topic we're going to talk about, so we've got to start drinking before we start talking about it. So let's go to the hops segment of the conversation this evening. We'll start with Joe. Joe, what's on the menu tonight?
Well, I didn't have a lot of time to go shopping, so I went back to old Miller Lite.
Okay.
So
nice.
It's cold, refreshing, delicious. You know the drill. It's water that has alcohol.
Mike, what you got?
Well,
oh, wait, one last thing.
Oh,
it's no IPA. Thank God.
Does it have weed in it?
Oh, wow. All right. Well, I'm similarly back to my old faithful Yingling.
Okay.
So,
all right. Well, so I made up for that. I got a beer out of Comstock, Michigan, from Bell's Brewery. It's called Two Hearted IPA.
Yep.
And so far so good. It's an IPA. And it's
I've had that one.
7%. So we'll see how this evening goes. So we got to get into Terry talk. We are returning to the Terry McLaurin podcast. I feel like at times. Terry reported to camp. That is the big news. So he's now a hold in instead of a hold out. And he was put on the PUP list, the physically unable to perform list. So he can attend meetings. He can go through all that. He showed up on Sunday, was the first day he showed up, and he waited till after practice was over. And then he shows up on the field with his agent, of course. And the crowd goes wild and they're chanting, Terry, Terry, Terry. And he signs autographs. And someone asked him if he had a deal, and he said something along the lines of, "Are you kidding?" And that was it. And so that was it. So Terry's back, and personally, I think he's back because he's tired of losing money. Because between his
Sunday was also the first day fans were at practice, right? At camp. So
yes,
feels like he knows who's important to him, and didn't want to disappoint those fans that had the Sunday ticket. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm with you on that 100%. He's lost approximately $800,000 in fines from missing the mini camp, which cost him over $100,000. He missed a workout bonus, which was $500,000. He missed about another $200,000 on his missed training camp days. So yeah, he's missed about $800,000. That's why he's back at camp. In this one person's opinion, that's why he showed up for camp. He apparently has a quote unquote ankle injury.
I saw a tweet on that. I'd like to add to this. The tweet reads, Terry McLaurin reported to training camp with an ankle injury sustained from standing on business.
Standing on business.
Standing on business. He's got that ankle injury. So, yeah.
So there was one thing that happened in the league that everyone's been trying to find comps to Terry is for what he should be paid. And everyone's trying to compare him to DK Metcalf because that's the easiest one because they were in the same draft. But the Denver Broncos signed one of their receivers, their number one receiver, Cortland Sutton, to an extension. There's 4 years, I think, like $96 million or so. And people, the interesting thing is, I don't think anybody should be surprised by this. All the media is like, well, he's not a real comparison to Terry. And actually, I think he's the best comparison so far. Because if you look at their stats, their career stats, Sutton was drafted a year earlier than Terry, but their stats, Terry's played 97 games, Sutton's played 98. Terry has 460 receptions, Sutton has 379. Terry's got more yardage and more touchdowns and everything, but they're very similar. Last season was similar. Terry's been to one. He's been to 2 Pro Bowls. Sutton's been to 1. But I think this is someone that's actually probably the closest comp to Terry. I don't know what it means. I just found that interesting that suddenly everyone who's looking for a comp, they get a good one and they disregard it.
What was Sutton's deal? Has that been reported?
I think it was 4 years, $92 million. The deal includes $41 million in guarantees. He was scheduled to earn $14 million this year. That now becomes fully guaranteed to go with $27 million in guarantees on the 4 years of his extension. He was in the last year of his contract. And Sutton for last year on third downs, he was 3rd overall in the league with receptions, 1st in yardage, 1st in first downs, and 1st in drops, meaning he had 0. So I guess he had the least number of drops. So, he had himself a pretty good season last year, over 1,000 yards, I believe. Yada yada yada, whatever. But there was also a report that came out. Adam Schefter, who's everybody's either your favorite NFL insider or the one you hate the most. He had some reports, and that he wasn't reporting this as fact by any means, but that Terry wants more money than DK Metcalf is getting right now, and I think DK's average is like $33 million. The team's not going to pay him more than $33 million. I don't believe that. So I think we're in for Terry Cousins.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
He's going to play this year. He's going to be tagged next year, and then he's going to be gone.
You don't think they tag him twice?
Maybe.
Like they did to Cousins?
Maybe. What I think they will do is they will tag him and allow him to look for a trade. And if they get a good enough offer, then they will trade him. If not, then he plays the first year on the tag and then wash, rinse, repeat for the second year. So
I think you might be right. I think if they really wanted him long term, they would have locked him down. I mean, what's a few $1 million among friends?
Well, I don't know though. Now, if that's true that he wants $33 million a year, and we don't know term, we don't know guarantee, things like that, he might be asking for too much.
Well, he's only asking for what he deserves,
Okay.
There's plenty of teams out there willing to overpay, though.
Yeah. And so that's what Washington used to do.
Yeah.
I understand. Yeah. We sure did.
Maybe that's why he's like, look, these guys historically have always overpaid. Why won't they overpay me?
Yeah. Because there's a new sheriff in town. And his name is Adam Peters.
Yeah.
Ain't got no riverboat to kick around no more. So that's the Terry news. He's in camp, but he's not doing anything. He still wants to redo his contract, and
so
I guess we're still at the I don't care stage.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because he's under contract, and like you said, they'll franchise tag him next year. So, but here's an interesting, if that's true, if what we're hearing is true and what he wants is probably more than he's worth, do you think fans out there, if they believe that, would, I don't want to say turn on him, would maybe think about it and go, well, maybe the team shouldn't pay that much for him.
I do think there's a number of fans that feel that way. That
So, because I do too. So then, at what point, again, assuming this is all true, at what point does the team start leaking information to essentially protect themselves to be like, we're not going to overpay for this guy and what he wants is too much?
That's the
I'll
old
let Joe
regime that
go
would leak
first.
information.
What's that, Joe?
That's the old regime that would leak the information to cover their asses. I think this time they'll just try to take, I hope, try to take the high road. And
Well, okay, I get your point there, but is that covering their asses at that point? If he's got an ask that is, let's say, I'm going to make stuff up, but let's just say 30 million is the number that, I know that's what we do. We have no credentials. So let's say 30 million is the number that if that came out 30 million a year, every fan would be like, yeah, he deserves that. Now we're 10% above that at 33 or 10 plus because he wants more than.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure that's even about taking the high road. At some point, the team, like, they're the ones taking the hit. We've said it. Like, fans are all behind Terry. But at
Mhm.
some point, if Terry's asking for too much and this deal doesn't get done because Terry's being unrealistic, it is it really uh, is it that bad for the team to start leaking that out to be like, we're trying, we're making a good deal, and he's not getting on board with it?
Well, I think I think it would be bad if the team leaked it. I'll start with that.
Okay.
I don't think they should leak that, at least not at this point. I think that I think some fans, I mean, they heard the report. Adam Schefter, again, he wasn't claiming this as gospel, but he is the NFL insider. Whether I don't really care for the guy, but he is the guy on the inside. He gets the stories. He knows what's going on, and I think this set a lot of people there. Did see some media people, local media people, who did say that, hey, if Terry's asking for more than DK Metcalf, he's not getting it, and he's not worth like it. He may be better than DK, and he may be more valuable than DK, but he's not getting that money because he's 2 years older than DK, and DK is a freak of nature physically. Like Terry's a great athlete, don't get me wrong, but DK, everyone to a T, is a freak of nature. So I think if this is the case, uh, I think it just plays itself out to what I just said earlier. They're going to play out the season. He's going to make sure he gets his money this year, and they'll tag him for at least 1 year, if not two, and they'll look to trade him. But my question is this, and I'm going to go to Joe, because you brought this up originally when all the reports came out that Terry was upset and frustrated, and you questioned, we don't know who this is from, and legitimately you asked that question. We didn't know who the reports were from, and then Terry has his little news conference at his commercial shoot, and he says, "Yeah, hey, I said it. I'm not happy. That's me. That's me. It's on me." Okay, we all know it's on Terry now. So now, if there are these possible reports coming out that that Terry's asking for more money than DK Metcalf, if that is in fact the case, could it possibly be Terry's camp that thinks that is leaking this in hopes to what? I don't know. But Joe, do you we try not to speculate too much here, but Joe, what do you think about that? Could this be more of the same, of maybe it is Terry's camp leaking it and we just don't know that yet? Or could it be, could it have come from the team? Could it have been someone from the team? As Mike, you were saying, is this where they leak it? Maybe they already did. But Joe, I mean, what do you think about that? Because you raised the interesting point originally a couple weeks ago.
yeah, sure. It's tough to say, right? I mean, it would make sense at this point that it would be coming from Terry's camp, just because now we've actually heard Terry talking about it. Um, it's, you always wonder where these insiders get their information from. They obviously have contacts with everyone.
Mhm.
So you never know. And like, with what Schefter was saying, where it's not, he was his feeling, his gut instinct. It was how he
Right.
kind of made it sound. Not like, hey, I heard from so and so or from a source, this is what's happening. So it wouldn't surprise me at this point if it is coming from Terry's camp. Um, it's this has just gotten so ugly at this point. I'm disappointed now. I'm bummed because it feels like it is Kirk Cousins all over again. It feels
Bummed,
like
bummed in what way? Are you bummed about the
I
team,
like
bummed about
Terry.
Terry, or bummed about
I'm
the
bummed about Terry. I
situation?
like Terry. I'm bummed about Terry. I like him. I think that he's a good player. I don't know that he's worth 33, $34 million a year. I don't know that sort of stuff. And it would be great to pay him as much, I'm not the one paying it, so what do I care? Give him
Right.
all the money in the world. So but it'd be nice to actually see him. I'm so tired of players not sticking with a team. I don't like the way free agency is done nowadays. You don't have these players that you want to support their whole career because they're playing 10 years at their one team. So I don't like how the industry is, I guess, at this point anymore. So I'm
No.
bummed that it feels like this is the end for him. If, like I said, I feel like if he was going to be with us long term, that Adams would have, even if they were off by like $1 million or $2 million a year, I feel like they would have gotten the deal done. But for them to be dragging this out as long as they are, they've got to be pretty far off at this point.
So if I said that, well, I mean, we all expressed it last week. We were at the point of not caring. Is it conceivable? And I'll just talk to the three of us and not to the rest of the fan base, because I certainly don't want to speak for the fan base in any way. And I can say this for myself to an extent, because this is kind of how my fandom has become over the years. Am I just preparing myself for the worst because that's what we've become so accustomed to? And prepare for the worst, hope for the best. Preparing for the worst is that Terry's gone in 2 years. Actually, preparing for the worst would be Terry's gone in a year. But and the best is that he signs a 3 or 4 year extension for I don't care what the amount is. He just signs it. So I asked the two of you, are we feeling that we're just kind of preparing ourselves for the worst, and then we'll be extra happy or excited if he does sign an extension? Mike, we'll go to you first, but what do you think about that?
I mean, it's a good question given the history of this team. It's easy to prepare for the worst. I don't know for me that's necessarily where it is right now, because and maybe a couple weeks ago I would have said, yeah, I don't know, what do we go back 4 weeks or so, and we were doing our what level are you? And
Mhm.
I probably at the time was going higher number just because, yeah, preparing for the worst. I think some of this stuff, look, I know it's all gamesmanship and what gets out there, how it gets out there. It's all trying to use the court of public opinion and things like that. But I do think this is probably not a great situation. And I think it's worse than I thought it was even 2 weeks ago. So I don't think it's about preparing for the worst. It's that it's worse than maybe I thought it was. I don't know if that
Okay.
makes sense, but
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Joe, what do you think?
I'm thinking it's bad. I almost feel like they might be wanting to trade him and get some draft capital and try to find the next Malik Neighbors, bring in the next young wide receiver that's cheap. That's
Well,
I think if we don't have a deal done by the beginning of the season, I could see them trying to trade him right before the trade deadline this year and get anything they can out of him.
wow.
okay. I didn't think it was that bad. So
Neither did I.
I'm going dark now.
wow, yeah, that took a turn.
That's what we get. That's what we get from Joe drinking an IPA last week. I thought I was supposed to be the pessimist around here. Well, all right. So you know what? Let's table the Terry talk then.
And on that high note,
let's go to some good news. Let's go to some good news. We get the bad crap out of the way, the stuff that makes us annoyed or frustrated or however. So the news that came out of Ashburn today, or this week, I should say, not today, is that Santana Moss is going to be inducted into the Ring of Fame in the stadium, the DC Ring of Fame. He's not having his jersey retired or anything quite like that, but this is a good honor for Santana. Sorry, got Terry on the brain. So Santana Moss played for the team from 2005 to 2014. His career numbers for his time in Washington. Now he also played with the Jets originally before being traded to Washington. He has 581 career receptions, 7,867 yards, and 47 touchdowns. Good for 3rd, 4th, and 7th on the all-time Washington career list. So 3rd in receptions, 4th in yardage, and 7th in touchdowns. I think for Santana Moss, I think the first memory that comes out for Santana Moss, I believe it was 2005, when he caught the 2 touchdowns late against Dallas to win that game. That's
favorite memory of him.
Yeah, right. I wasn't always the biggest Santana Moss fan, but he was the guy when he was here. He was the number 1 guy. So, I don't know what memories you all have of him, but Joe, we'll go to you. What do you think about Santana being put in the Ring of Fame or whatever they call it there in Washington?
Yeah, I think it's great. I like it. You brought it up, that game against Monday Night Football against Cowboys, trailing 13-0 in the 4th quarter with like 5 minutes left, and within 3 minutes he scored 2 touchdowns. I think Brad Johnson was the quarterback at the time. It was amazing. It was such a great comeback. He was the first jersey I bought. Okay. So I got a special place in my heart for him. And so I think it's wonderful. I love it when we have our old players getting a little recognition that they deserve.
Yeah.
And obviously he's got, some stats to back it up. He's not a bottom feeder or just a fan favorite or anything like that. He's actually proven and put some good stats up there. So it's great.
Okay. Mike, thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, look, I think it's kind of cool. I will say when I heard it, I was like, I don't know that he would have been the first person to pop into my head to go in the ring, but I thought about it and I'm like, I like him. I think it's kind of cool. You guys have pointed out the 2 touchdowns, like all that. And also he was with the team when they weren't maybe the best. So that may be why I just wouldn't have been my first thought, but yeah, I think it's cool. I'm excited for it.
Well, I think the Ring of Fame is a good spot for Santana. I mean, he's not someone that should have his number retired. He was number 89. And this is not to, he had a very good run in DC. As I said, he's up there with the greats. When you say he's 3rd in receptions, he's behind Art Monk and Charlie Taylor. That's good company right there. Right. In yards, it's those 2, and I forget who the 4th one was, maybe Bobby Mitchell or Jerry Smith. So again, he's in very good company. And to be honest, I didn't realize he was that high on these numbers in Washington history. So I think it's a good honor for him. It'll be during the first game against the Giants, so that'll be a good way to kick off the season, I think.
How many different quarterbacks did he have thrown to him in all those years he was there? 20?
No, I don't know if he had that many.
I know, I'm kind of kidding, but I
think
it makes it that much more impressive to have that many.
9 years, 10 years? It couldn't have been more than a dozen quarterbacks.
Let's see. I'm going to pull that one up real quick. Because that is an interesting question. Because that was to just jump back to the Sutton from Denver. He's had like 10 quarterbacks throw passes to him in his career in Denver, and some of them have not been nearly as good as the quarterbacks that Terry was catching passes from, and we know how bad some of the quarterbacks that Terry was catching passes from. So I think that's a fairly good comp. So what do we say, 2005 to 2014?
Yeah.
So the starting quarterbacks in 2005 were Mark Brunell and Patrick Ramsey. And then moving each year, Brunell and Jason Campbell, Todd Collins, Jason Campbell in 2009. 2010 was Donovan McNabb. We all remember that train wreck. And Rex Grossman were their starting quarterbacks in 2011. In 2012, it was RG3 and Kirk Cousins. Let's see, we got to go through 2014. So in 2013, it was RG3 and Cousins again. And then in 2014, oh, you got to love this triangle of quarterbacks. RG3 for 7 games, Kirk Cousins for 5, and Colt McCoy for 4 games.
Wow. It was Mark Brunell that threw him the touchdowns for that Monday night game, wasn't it?
I guess
I
it
said
was
Brad
then,
Johnson, but it must have been Brunell.
Yeah, Brad Johnson was the starting quarterback in 99 and 2000.
Okay.
And in 2000, he started 11 games, and Jeff George started the other 5 games. How about them apples? But anyway, that's a whole nother rabbit hole. But I think this is great for Santana. I'm happy for him. He is stayed active with the franchise. He's still in the area. I think he does a radio show, or he does some stuff with Brian Mitchell. Brian Mitchell's the one who broke the news to him. So I think it's good. And Joe, you're right. Look, we went through the Snyder years with not acknowledging the past really, and acknowledging some of the great players that did in fact play for this franchise before the year 2000. And that's a shame. And, I've poo-pooed on Josh Harris a little bit. And I think some of the stuff he's doing is just, he's not necessarily doing it because the right thing. I think he's trying to do some of it to curry favor. But, the fact that they retired Jurgensen's number and Darryl Green's number, Art Monk. Now, I think they're moving, they're going to do a new Sean Taylor statue. I think this is the right idea. And I agree with you, Joe. There are a number of other players. I won't necessarily say more deserving. I mean, I could come up probably with some that are more deserving, maybe in my mind. But I think this is the right way to go for this franchise to continue trying to win back the fans. I mean, that's really what it comes down to, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, the only other little nugget was there was some stadium stuff, but I didn't really fully understand it. But the team sent the city council, DC City Council, a letter saying they were going to try and they want some of the things that they had talked about that they were going to change. We had mentioned there was a meeting last week. I don't really understand a lot of the stuff in the letter, so I don't really feel comfortable talking too much about it. I mean, the first item, though, was that the club would now be responsible for cost overruns for the stadium and parking structures. I would have thought that was already part of the deal to begin with. I think the team should be, because I'm going to guess they're the ones who are hiring people. But I guess it's just another step closer to possibly actually starting construction on a new stadium and everything that goes with it. And if that's the case, I'm for it. But there's still a little bit of pessimist in me that says this. I don't
That's
know.
why I'm ignoring it until something gets passed, and I don't know, until shovels go in the ground.
Yeah. Fair enough. Well, that's all I had for my list of things to talk about. I don't know if you guys had anything you wanted to talk about, any little nuggets or anything else that you saw or want to get off your chest about the team or about the league or anything like that. Here's your opportunity.
I did see a few things, a few articles talking about Brian Robinson's contract is up at the end of this year. And I
Okay.
found it interesting that people were saying, oh, this is a make or break a year for him. And I think the three of us kind of agree. No, it's not. He's not coming back after this.
Yeah, I know
So
we did talk about that once, didn't we? About whether or not we thought he would be back.
Yeah.
I never saw anything overly special in him. And
I did the first couple of years, I thought he was better than average, better than decent. But then at the end of last year, the second half of last year, he kept dropping the ball and his production went down. So I don't
He'd have to
feel
have a
that
hell
strongly
of a
towards
year.
him.
I mean, make or break feels like an understatement. He'd have to have a hell of a year, in my opinion, to be coming back. But
yeah, but
Yeah,
some of his downturn in production was the offensive line. I agree with you, Joe, but to be fair, the offensive line did start.
Oh yeah.
Was not as
guess
great.
it's a good point. And also, we've also talked about how there's no kind of right now that we see predecessor to. I mean, who else is going to fill in there? So that could be what brings him back.
Well, it's Bill, their 7th round pick, Bill. Everyone
Right.
seems.
I forgot about that. My bad. Yeah, we're good.
Everyone seems really high on him. I'm reserving judgment because as Mike, as you noted at the beginning, we're not really going against an opponent here in training camp, and I always my recent example for this is Jimmy Moreland, who was a draft pick. I think he was the 7th round pick, cornerback out of JMU a couple years ago, and everyone was super excited about him. They were actually saying that he reminded them of Darryl Green, and he played maybe 2 seasons with the team, and now he's gone. I think he was playing in the CFL, maybe. It's great that we want to be excited about people, especially a 7th round pick in training camp, because if you can get a 7th round draft pick that can really contribute to your team and become a starter, like if that was the case, maybe not necessarily this year, but hey, if Robinson's gone next year and Eckler, who knows, he's probably on his 1-year contract, right? So whatever, he'll be gone, and Chris Rodriguez is bounced between the practice squad and the team. That there is an opening there at running back, and if you got a cheap 7th round pick to be your guy, then hey, bring it on, right? I mean, that'd
be great. And look, I'm not saying that couldn't happen. I'm just saying right now, I don't see who steps up for B-Rob. So we'll see.
Didn't Debo Samuels do a little bit of both running back and wide receiver in San Fran?
Yeah, that's so with the with Debo, that's part of the thing is I think what people are saying with Debo is like they don't expect 1,000 yards receiving from him. I think what some people are hoping for is that between his receiving and rushing, that he can get close to 1,000 yards. Which I think if that's the case, then everyone would be very happy about that. So yeah, I think Debo's going to get some carries, but he's not a primary running back. He's just the to mix things up. He's the jet sweep maybe or whatever.
Yeah, but if we're talking next year, he's going to be our number 1 receiver because Terry's going to be gone, like we talked about earlier. So,
well, no, because I think Terry would be tagged, so Terry would be on the team next year.
Well, Joe went real dark at the end of that, so now I'm at the Terry's going to be gone. They're going to trade him here.
Yeah, I think I think they're inducting Terry into the Ring of Honor as well, since his career in Washington is already over. So just pulling up some things. They did the Washington Nate Herbig. He's a 27-year-old that the Commanders signed in the offseason. He's an offensive lineman. He decided to retire. I know you're like, who? What? Exactly. Noah Brown received first team wide receiver reps with Terry and his ankle injury. And unless you guys have something else to add, we're going to go out on this note.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Let's see. Matt Gay, the only kicker in camp, converted 4 or 5 field goals, including a 52-yarder from the right hash mark. Gay pulled his lone miss from just left from 49 yards after a low snap.
Oh, he missed one?
That's our kicker news.
Low snap,
Oh, my
not his
God.
fault. Oh, boy. We've become the Terry Kicker Show.
Jeez.
That's all I got.
Good. We should end it there.
We're going to end it there. So as always, thanks for tuning in and watching and listening. As a reminder, don't forget you can find us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify Podcasts. If you're watching us on YouTube, we appreciate that as well. Click subscribe wherever you're finding us. Click the like button, leave a review or a comment or something, anything. Seriously, mock us if you want. I don't care. But it all goes to feed the fragile egos that we have. Anyway, until next week, when we will probably talk about kickers and Terry, and because we got nothing else going on.
Stadium contracts, things like that.
We appreciate you watching. Until next week, bye.
See ya.
Bye.